In the far reaches of the solar system, where the sun barely registered as more than a particularly bright star against the black canvas of space, the communication arrays of the Outer Rim listening station hummed with the usual cacophony of interstellar noise. Technicians, half asleep, monitored the signals, most of which were just cosmic whispers or routine data packets from distant human outposts. However, on that unremarkable shift, the array captured something extraordinary. A signal, weak and wavering, emerged from the static. It was a direct, intelligent message, not the remnants of a long-dead civilization's broadcast or a random pattern nature could have thrown into the cosmos. The message was clear, urgent, and unmistakably alien. Emergency, assistance required, our coordinates enclosed, life support failure imminent. The voice was synthetic, obviously translated from an unknown language, and carried an eerie calm despite its dire content. The technician on duty, startled from the monotony, replayed the message, ensuring it was not a figment of his sleep-deprived imagination. Once confirmed, protocols were swiftly enacted. Within hours, the signal was escalated through the bureaucratic labyrinths of the United Earth Space Command, reaching the desk of Admiral Linda Hargreave, who was stationed at the Strategic Command Center on Luna. Admiral Hargreave, a veteran of various interstellar conflicts and peacekeeping missions, understood the gravity of the situation. An alien race, not previously encountered, was reaching out in distress. The politics of first contact were delicate and typically required fleets, diplomats, and xenobiologists. However, with the aliens teetering on the brink of extinction, there was no time for such luxuries. She made a decision that was both a political gambit and a humanitarian response. Deploy the 5th Reserve Fleet, she ordered, knowing well that this fleet was largely composed of decommissioned ships and rookie crews, their readiness questionable at best. It was a calculated risk. The 5th was the only fleet that could be mobilized swiftly enough to possibly make a difference. The 5th Reserve Fleet, under the reluctant command of Commodore Ryan Burke, was a motley crew of the old, the outdated, and the untested. When the orders came through, Burke, a pragmatic man who had never seen real action, felt a mix of dread and excitement. His ship, the Valiant, was a relic from a bygone era of space exploration, retrofitted more for nostalgia than actual combat or deep space rescue. As the fleet assembled and set coordinates for the alien system, Burke addressed his crew, trying to instill a sense of urgency and importance. "This is not just a rescue mission," he explained. "It's our first handshake with a species from beyond our stars. How we respond now will set the tone for humanity's role in the galaxy. Let's show them what we're made of, even if we're the underdogs of the fleet." The journey was not without its mishaps. Hyperdrive malfunctions, life support anomalies, and navigational errors plagued the fleet, each incident a reminder of their ship's advanced age and their crew's inexperience. But each setback was met with determination. After all, the fleet was Earth's first impression, and every crew member felt the weight of that responsibility. As they neared the alien coordinates, the Valiant and its companion vessels prepared for the unknown. Sensors were tuned to detect any signs of the alien craft, life signs, or potential hazards. The crew stood by, ready for any contingency, their resolve hardening with every light year crossed. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity against the relentless ticking of the universe, the sensors picked up an anomaly. It was the alien ship, adrift and barely holding on to existence. Its design was unlike anything human engineers had crafted, sleek yet organic, as if grown rather than built, shimmering with a metallic sheen that reflected the distant stars. Burke stared at the view screen, his heart racing with the realization that they were about to make history. This was it, the moment of first contact, and it was not ambassadors in suits who greeted the aliens, but a fleet of Earth's cast-offs. He hoped they were enough. "Prepare for docking maneuvers," he ordered, his voice steady but his hands betraying a slight tremor. "And get the med teams ready. We're going to bring them home." As the Valiant approached, everyone on the bridge held their breath, ready to face whatever awaited them in the alien vessel. It was a pivotal moment, not just for those on board but for all of humanity. They were answering a call for help, and how they responded would echo through the stars for generations to come. As the Valiant drew closer to the alien vessel, The bridge was bathed in the harsh light of distant stars, highlighting the tense faces of the crew. Commodore Burke leaned forward, his eyes locked on the main display, which flickered intermittently as the sensor arrays struggled to analyze the alien technology. The ship was like nothing they had encountered in human records. Its hull pulsated with a soft glow, suggesting some form of bioluminescence or energy field. "Sir, the ship structure is unlike any known alloys or composite materials in our database," reported Lieutenant Singh, the fleet's chief science officer, his voice a mixture of awe and apprehension. "It's almost as if it's alive." Burke nodded, processing the information with a calm he didn't feel. "Any signs of life?" "There are life signs, sir, but they're weak. It appears that only a few aboard are still alive," Singh replied, adjusting the sensors to better capture the faint signals emanating from the ship. "All right, let's not keep them waiting. Deploy the docking module," Burke ordered, turning to his communications officer. "And open a channel to the fleet. Let's keep everyone informed." The docking process was precarious. The alien ship's design did not complement the human technology, and it took several attempts to establish a secure connection. Once the airlock sealed, a collective breath was released on the bridge, but it was too soon to celebrate. The real test was about to begin. Burke selected a small team to accompany him, including Dr. Eliza Cortez, the fleet's top medical expert, and Sergeant Rios, head of security. As they suited up, Burke briefed them on the gravity of their mission. "We don't know what we're going to find in there. Stay alert and keep communication lines open. Our priority is to stabilize any survivors and gather as much intel as possible." The airlock doors hissed open, revealing the interior of the alien craft. It was dimly lit by the same bioluminescent glow that coated the exterior. The walls were smooth, with a texture that seemed organic, undulating slightly under their touch. The corridor stretched forward, branching off into multiple pathways. Cortez, carrying her medical kit, led the way with her scanner, trying to trace the strongest life signs. The atmosphere inside the ship was thin, breathable but just barely, laced with an alien aroma that smelled faintly of ozone and something else they couldn't identify. As they progressed deeper into the ship, the gravity of their situation settled in. The hallway opened up into what appeared to be a central chamber, a hub of sorts that connected various parts of the ship. In the center, they found the survivors. 3 alien beings lay prone on the ground, their bodies frail and translucent. Their anatomy was vaguely humanoid, but with elongated limbs and fingers that ended in delicate tendrils. One stirred weakly as they approached, its eyes, a shimmering silver, opening slowly. Cortez was immediately at their side, her scanner buzzing softly as she assessed their condition. "They're dehydrated and malnourished, but I think I can stabilize them," she said, working swiftly to administer fluids and nutrients through what she hoped were their circulatory systems. Burke watched, his gaze moving from the aliens to his crew, pride swelling in his chest despite the dire circumstances. They were doing more than just making a first impression, they were saving lives. Suddenly, the ship shuddered, a deep groan echoing through the hull. The walls began to pulse more rapidly, and a low hum filled the air, growing louder by the second. "Sir, the ship's energy levels are fluctuating wildly. It's like it's reacting to our presence." Singh's voice crackled over the comms, tinged with urgency. Burke glanced at the aliens, then back to his team. "Let's move, people. Get them to the Valiant, now." They lifted the aliens with care, Cortez continuing her treatments as they moved. The ship's corridors seemed to constrict around them, the glow intensifying, as if urging them to leave. With every step back to the Valiant, the urgency increased, their path illuminated by the flickering lights of an alien ship clinging to life. As they crossed back into the human-made environment of their own vessel, the contrast couldn't have been starker, the cold metal and synthetic light a stark departure from the living vessel they had just exited. As the airlock sealed behind them, Burke allowed himself a moment of relief. They had answered the call, not with might, but with mercy. Now, with alien guests aboard, the next phase of their unexpected mission was about to begin, ensuring these newfound allies survived and learning just how much their worlds would change with this encounter. Back aboard the Valiant, the atmosphere was charged with a nervous energy. The medical bay had been transformed into an impromptu intensive care unit for the alien survivors, now under the constant watch of Dr. Cortez and her team. The aliens, though stable, remained a mystery, their physiology defying easy categorization and their weak condition a constant concern. Commodore Burke convened a meeting with his senior officers in the strategy room, where a holographic display flickered with the alien ship's schematics and life sign data. We've got 3 living beings who are unlike anything in our xenobiological records. We need to understand their technology, their culture, and most importantly, their intentions, he explained, casting a serious gaze over his crew. Lieutenant Singh chimed in, his eyes never leaving the display. The ship's technology integrates organic and synthetic elements so seamlessly it's almost like a living ecosystem. It's possible their technology is biologically based, maybe even sentient. Sergeant Rios, always cautious, added, "We should also prepare for the possibility of their ship being a scout or vanguard. Just because they're in distress doesn't mean they don't have defensive capabilities." Burke nodded thoughtfully. "Good points both. Let's keep security on high alert and continue our non-invasive scans of the ship. We need to learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible." Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Cortez was deep in her work. The alien's bioluminescent blood, assuming it was blood, had properties that defied her most advanced medical scanners. It seemed to carry both nutrients and electrical impulses to their tissues, a sort of hybrid circulatory and nervous system. As she administered another round of nutrients, one of the aliens stirred, its eyes focusing with what seemed like a painful effort. It spoke, its voice a soft echo in her mind rather than a sound she heard with her ears. Startled, Cortez realized they were communicating telepathically. "Water, light, please," the voice implored, conveying images of a bright, aquatic world that was lush and vibrant, a stark contrast to the sterile confines of the medical bay. Cortez responded, not sure if her thoughts were being received. "I'm trying to help. Tell me what you need." "Sun." Energy from Sun, came the reply, a stream of mental images showing the alien basking in sunlight, its skin absorbing the rays. Understanding dawned on her. The aliens were photosynthetic. She quickly adjusted the environmental settings in the medical bay to mimic the light spectrum of a sun, similar to what the alien had shown her in its thoughts. Almost immediately, the alien skin began to glow more brightly, and its vitals strengthened. Encouraged by this breakthrough, Cortez communicated her findings to Burke, who was equally amazed and relieved. "Keep them stable, Eliza. This could be the key to not only saving them but also building a bridge between our species." As the Valiant continued its vigil in space, the crew worked tirelessly to decode the alien ship's data streams, which were slowly being accessed through a cautious and respectful hack. Each piece of data revealed more about the aliens. Their culture was deeply communal, their technology organically integrated, and their mission, it seemed, was one of exploration, much like the humans. In his quarters, Burke reflected on the gravity of their discovery. Here were beings that traveled the stars not with shields and guns, but with openness and a sense of unity with their environment. As he watched the stars through his viewport, a sense of wonder overtook him. This encounter, born from a call for help, might just redefine humanity's place in the cosmos, not as warriors or conquerors, but as part of a larger, more diverse community of starfaring civilizations. Ready to embrace whatever came next, Burke prepared his crew for the days ahead. They would need to be ambassadors as much as explorers in this new chapter of human history, where the vastness of space suddenly seemed a little more filled with light. As the days passed, the Valiant and its crew adjusted to their new role as caretakers and diplomats. The medical bay had become a hub of interspecies interaction, with Dr. Cortez often facilitating between the recovering aliens and the curious human crew. The aliens, whom they had started to refer to as the Luminars due to their radiant, photosynthetic skin, were slowly regaining strength under the artificial sun Cortez had created. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Singh and his team of engineers and scientists made significant progress with the alien ship. They had managed to restore partial power to the vessel without fully activating its systems, cautious of triggering any automated defenses or distress signals that might call forth unknown reinforcements. During one of the daily briefings, Singh presented a fascinating discovery. We've managed to access what seems to be the ship's log. It's a bit like our black boxes but far more sophisticated. It records not only the ship's travels and technical data but also the crew's thoughts and experiences. It's almost like a collective memory. Burke, intrigued, leaned in. Can we view these memories? It could give us invaluable insight into their culture and technology. Singh nodded, activating the holographic display. The room dimmed as a flurry of alien memories played out in vivid, almost dreamlike sequences. Scenes of vast oceans, towering luminescent plants, and cities that seemed to grow out of the landscape itself told the story of a world where life and technology were indistinguishable. The Luminar's memories also revealed their purpose for traveling through the stars. They were seekers of knowledge, gathering data and experiences from various worlds, sharing this information freely among a vast network of other species they referred to as the Stellar Conglomerate, a loose federation of civilizations dedicated to the peaceful exploration of the cosmos. Burke watched, fascinated and humbled by the depth of the Luminar's commitment to exploration and preservation. They're not just explorers, they're historians of the universe, he murmured. With this new understanding, Burke knew that humanity had much to gain from a relationship with the Luminars. However, he also recognized the delicate nature of their position. The Luminars were vulnerable, and their technology, if fallen into the wrong hands, could pose a significant threat or be a substantial boon. In another part of the ship, Sergeant Rios oversaw the integration of the Luminar's security protocols with the Valiant systems. He worked closely with a luminary they called Sonera, who had shown a keen interest in human technology. Sonera was delicate in form but sharp in intellect, her input invaluable in bridging the gap between the two species' technologies. "Your systems are very direct, Sergeant Rios," Sonera commented through their now smooth telepathic communication, facilitated by a translation device Singh had adapted from the luminary technology. "Yes, they are designed for efficiency and response," Rios replied, showing her the tactical displays. "But we are learning that there are more ways to protect a ship than shields and guns." Sonera nodded, her body glowing slightly brighter, a sign of pleasure. "And we learn much from your resilience and adaptability." Back in his quarters, Burke prepared for the upcoming universal transmission that would announce their encounter with the Luminars to Earth and its colonies. This announcement would not only change the public's view of the universe but also potentially alter the trajectory of human space exploration and diplomacy. As he drafted his speech, Burke felt the weight of his words. This was more than a simple declaration. It was an invitation to the galaxy to see humanity as a worthy member of the interstellar community. With the Luminars slowly integrating into the life of the Valiant, the ship had become a small cosmopolitan entity drifting through space, a testament to the potential for unity in the vast, star-filled expanse. Burke hoped that this first encounter, born from desperation and answered with compassion, would set a precedent for all future human interactions in the cosmos. The universal transmission was set to broadcast from the Valiant's communication deck, where Admiral Burke stood before a camera, the live feed blinking ready. Across human-controlled space, from the bustling earthbound cities to the remote outposts on distant moons, people paused to listen. The news of first contact, officially confirmed, was about to reshape their view of the universe. Burke began his address with the gravitas the moment demanded. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity. We have made contact with a sentient species known as the Luminars. They are explorers like us, traversing the cosmos not for conquest but for knowledge and understanding." His voice, steady and clear, carried across the cosmos, a signal that humanity was stepping onto a larger stage. As he spoke, images of the Luminars and snippets of their shimmering, organic ship were displayed behind him, a stark contrast to the angular metallic human architecture. He detailed their peaceful nature and the circumstances of their rescue, emphasizing the potential for mutual growth and learning. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Cortez and her team continued their diligent work with the Luminars, who were now well enough to communicate more extensively. One of them, named Lyriel, had expressed a desire to learn more about human medicine, fascinated by the chemical processes that were so different from their own biological technologies. Liriel and Cortez sat together, a holographic display between them showing diagrams of human and luminary physiology. Your healing processes are powered by chemicals and reactions, Liriel observed, her voice a soft melody in Cortez's mind. Ours are driven by light and the natural energies of our world. It is quite enlightening to see such diversity in life. Cortez smiled, pleased with the pun, whether intended or not. There's much we can learn from each other. Perhaps we can find ways to blend our methods for better treatments? Back on the bridge, Lieutenant Singh and his team were deep in discussion with Sunera and another luminary technician, poring over data and schematics. They were collaboratively working on integrating some of the luminary navigation aids into the Valiant systems, a project that promised to enhance the accuracy and range of the fleet's star mapping capabilities. The way you navigate the stars is different from ours, Singh noted as they adjusted the interface to accommodate human interaction. Your maps are almost alive. Yes, Sunera replied, her thoughts clear and bright. Our maps evolve because the cosmos is always changing. Static maps lose their relevance. By integrating our systems, perhaps your journeys will be safer and more efficient. As these projects unfolded, Sergeant Rios conducted training sessions with both human and luminary security teams. They were exploring non-lethal means of conflict resolution, a concept that the Luminars adhered to strictly. Rios found the challenge invigorating, pushing him to think beyond traditional military doctrines. In one training module, Rios demonstrated a de-escalation technique that used body language and tone to calm a potentially hostile situation. The Luminars, in turn, shared their method of creating harmonic vibrations that soothed aggressive impulses. These sessions are not just about security, Rios explained to his team later. They're about understanding and respect. We're setting the foundations for how humans and Luminars can work together, not just aboard the Valiant but hopefully across galaxies. As Admiral Burke concluded his transmission, with a call for peace and collaboration, the crew of the Valiant felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer just explorers or soldiers, they were pioneers on the frontier of interspecies relations, a beacon of hope in a vast and often intimidating universe. With the Luminars now part of their daily lives, the crew was learning that the space between stars wasn't just a void to be traversed but a bridge to be built. On the Valiant, under the twin banners of humanity and luminary innovation, that bridge was already taking form, a testament to the power of empathy and cooperation in the face of the unknown. In the wake of Admiral Burke's broadcast, the reality of the Luminars' presence began to ripple through the human sectors. Enthusiasm mingled with trepidation, but the overriding sentiment on Earth and beyond was one of curiosity and cautious optimism. On the Valiant, this new era of cooperation was marked by the initiation of joint scientific endeavors. Dr. Cortez and Liriel had taken the lead in what they playfully called the Biosynth Project, a venture aimed at merging luminary photosynthetic healing with human biotechnology. In a specially adapted lab, their teams experimented with bioluminescent cultures that could potentially enhance cellular regeneration in humans. The bioluminescent properties have an energizing effect on human cells, Cortez noted, observing the glowing cultures through a microscope. It's preliminary, but we're seeing increased cell vitality and faster regeneration rates. Liriel, her skin softly glowing in response to the lab's enhanced lighting, communicated her excitement. This blend of our sciences could lead to healing not just the body, but perhaps the environment of your worlds as well. Imagine plants that assist in human healing, or light that can mend. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Singh was overseeing the installation of the luminary navigational module on the bridge. The device, a sleek, organic console that pulsed with light, was interfaced with the Valiant systems. The initial tests were promising, as the hybrid system displayed not only star charts but also real-time cosmic phenomena, enhancing the ship's ability to navigate through less charted territories. "Look at this," Singh said, pointing to a display where a dark nebula was shown in real time, its gases swirling in a silent dance. "We're not just seeing where things are, but how they move and change. It's like watching the universe breathe." On the deck, Sergeant Rios was coordinating a mixed training exercise designed to foster trust and teamwork between the human crew and their luminary counterparts. The exercise was a simulated shipboard emergency, a scenario involving a reactor leak that required both species to rely on each other's strengths to prevent a catastrophe. As alarms blared in simulation, Rios watched as human and luminary teams worked together seamlessly. Humans brought their rapid response and problem-solving skills, while the Luminars contributed their ability to sense and adjust to the ship's organic technological synergy. Team 2, good response time, Rios commended through the comm system. I see you've adapted well to the luminary method of sensory navigation. Keep it up. As the exercise wound down, the benefits of such integration became evident, not just in handling emergencies but in strengthening the day-to-day operational harmony on board the ship. In the quieter moments, the crew of the Valiant gathered in the communal areas, sharing stories of their worlds. The Luminars, who were natural storytellers, shared tales of their home world, stories of seas that sang in the moonlight and forests that danced with colors unseen by human eyes. In return, the human crew members shared tales of Earth and its rich history, its music, its art, and its diverse cultures. One evening, as a gesture of goodwill, the ship's chefs, alongside luminary nutritional experts, prepared a joint feast. The menu included traditional human dishes alongside luminary delicacies, nutrient-rich algae, bioluminescent fruit that lit up the plates, and a variety of protein dishes adapted to suit all palates. Admiral Burke, watching his crew interact, felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Here they were, on the edge of known space, not as conquerors but as equals, sharing knowledge and food under the same stars. The harmony that had once seemed a distant dream was now a vivid, living reality. With each passing day, the Valiant sailed further into the unknown, its mission no longer just exploration but also diplomacy. As they ventured into new sectors, the message they carried was clear: humanity was ready to meet the universe not with force, but with open hands and an open heart, ready to learn and grow in this vast, interconnected cosmos. As the Valiant ventured deeper into the cosmos, the relationship between humans and Luminars continued to deepen, evolving into a symbiotic partnership that extended beyond the confines of the ship. The success of their collaboration was about to be tested in a way none had anticipated, as they approached the boundary of the stellar conglomerate, the federation of species that the Luminars were part of. Admiral Burke was in continuous communication with Earth's Space Command, updating them on their progress and the potential implications of interacting with the conglomerate. Earth authorities, while supportive, cautioned Burke on the diplomatic nuances required. The future of interstellar relations hung in the balance, and the Valiant's crew carried the weight of these expectations. In preparation for their first formal encounter with the conglomerate, the Valiant hosted a series of strategy sessions. These meetings were crucial in defining the approach for peaceful engagement and mutual respect. Lyriel and Cinera were instrumental in these discussions, providing insights into the cultural and procedural norms of the conglomerate's member species. We must show not only our willingness to cooperate but also our respect for the conglomerate's laws and traditions, Lyriel explained, her voice resonant with the wisdom of her people. Your openness to learning and adapting has already set a positive precedent. The Valiant approached the designated meeting coordinates, a neutral zone frequented by various conglomerate members. The area was a vibrant hub of interstellar activity, with ships of various shapes and sizes, each representing different civilizations, all coexisting peacefully. As they entered the zone, the Valiant was hailed by a conglomerate vessel. The communication was formal but welcoming, a mixture of curiosity and respect. Welcome, Valiant. We have been informed of your journey and the companionship you have formed with our luminary friends. We invite you to dock at the Harmony Station to further our dialogue. Burke, dressed in his formal uniform, stood beside Lyriel and Cinera as they prepared to meet the conglomerate's representatives. His heart was filled with a mix of anticipation and resolve. This was more than just a diplomatic mission. It was a testament to humanity's growth and their desire to be part of a larger cosmic community. The docking was smooth, a testament to the integrated navigation systems that Singh and the luminary technicians had perfected. As the airlock doors opened, Burke and his delegation were greeted by representatives of the conglomerate, a diverse array of beings, each unique in form but similar in their intent of peaceful cooperation. The meeting took place in a large hall, bathed in light and filled with the murmurs of multiple languages. Burke stepped forward, delivering his address with a clarity and sincerity that resonated throughout the room. We come in peace, with a desire to learn and contribute. Our journey with the Luminars has taught us much about the value of diversity and cooperation. We hope to extend this learning into a partnership with all members of the stellar conglomerate, Burke stated, his words translated into numerous languages by devices similar to the one developed by Singh. The response was positive, the conglomerate members expressing their appreciation for humanity's respectful approach and the Valiant's impressive efforts in ensuring the Luminar's survival and integration. Discussions flowed, agreements were drafted, and invitations were extended for further exchanges and visits. As the Valiant crew returned to their ship, there was a sense of accomplishment and excitement. They had not only succeeded in their mission but had also opened the door for humanity to enter a new stage of cosmic participation. In the days that followed, the Valiant continued its mission, now not just as an explorer or a diplomat but as a bridge between species and cultures. Burke often stood at the viewing deck, looking out at the stars, pondering the future. Humanity was no longer just a planet-bound species. They were active participants in the cosmic symphony, ready to play their part in the harmony of the universe. This marked not an end but a new beginning, a promise of continued adventure and discovery in the vast, interconnected cosmos. The Valiant and its crew, a microcosm of this new era, sailed onward, guided by the light of new stars and the bonds they had formed, forever a part of the ever-expanding tapestry of galactic life.